Hello there, Libra. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the week of September 23rd through the 29th. While I'm shuffling, let me just remind you that I do offer private readings either by phone or by Skype. You can find all my contact information listed at the website below. Just get a hold of me and we'll get you scheduled and taken care of quickly, quickly, quickly. Let's see what kind of cards you have coming up, Libra. Okay, for Monday, what we have showing up right off the bat is the Five of Scrolls, and the Five of Scrolls does talk about some kind of debate, argument, fight that is coming up where you're just at odds with one other person or maybe even with multiple other people. So, just so you know, heads up, if you see this coming and you want to avoid it, then you've got a heads up. If you see this coming and you know that it's kind of inevitable, you already know what I'm talking about, then you may prepare for this so that you've logically got all your ducks in a row. Either way, this is something that you just want to make sure that you've got your stuff together whenever you feel this energy coming in, okay? La da da da. It's important for me to say to you guys too, right now, Spirit is saying not all fights can be avoided. You know, just because it's a fight doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Sometimes you do have to stand up for yourself, or sometimes you do have to, you know, further the good of something that is righteous. So it's interesting because I was thinking about how come advice didn't come through to just, you know, just out and out avoid the fight. Like don't even go there. You know, spirits nudging me. Not all fights can be avoided. It's not good to avoid every single fight that comes along. Some fights have to be fought. Not necessarily saying that that's true for every single Libra that's watching here, but for some of you, this is something that things just have to be hashed out. Okay. Now let's look at Tuesday. Here, what we have is the Pilgrim in reverse. So when you have the Pilgrim in reverse, basically what's going on here is that you are doing some kind of research or digging for information on Tuesday. And this can be anything from formal research for a college project or a high school project or whatever, all the way up to checking out your partner's phone and doing research to make sure you're really the only partner your partner has or whatever, you know. Just digging for information basically is what this card denotes whenever it shows up on Tuesday. Okay, now let's look at Wednesday. Wednesday, what we have is the Artiste in reverse. I feel what's coming through for me, Libras, is unfortunately it just feels like you're not feeling very good. You're not feeling physically 100% up to par by the time Wednesday rolls around. Sorry to say that. Let's look at Thursday. So Thursday you have the Mime showing up. This is a page of spirals or a page of wands in another deck. And it's showing up in reverse, which is telling me that somebody is reminding you or letting you know, giving you some kind of message that there's something that needs to be done, and it's not something that makes you very happy. This is something that, you know, you don't really necessarily want to do. You're not jumping up and down with joy for whatever this is that needs to be done. Okay? Now, Friday. Six of Scrolls. If you look at this card, you can see that this woman, you know, she's touching her forehead to the elephant's top of his trunk. You know, this, to me, this looks like a sad farewell type of card. And so what I've got coming through for you guys for Friday is that there is something that you're letting go of, which would normally be the meaning of this card, something that was negative and that was holding you back. Would normally be the meaning of this card. I think you're still letting go of something that has had a negative influence on your life, but I think it's also a sad farewell. It's sort of a bittersweet type of thing, you know. So this could be, if it was me, it might be chocolate at one point in my life. Like, I know you're holding me back, you're keeping me from losing weight. I really shouldn't be eating you. But oh my gosh, this is going to be so tough. This is kind of what this card is like to me, so there may be something that, you know you need to get rid of, but it's really something that has given you something along with the toxicity, And so it's kind of a bittersweet thing as you let that thing go. Okay? All right, next, let's look at, okay, I'm being drawn to say more about this card. I think it's important to know that the elephant looks just the same there, if you notice this. And to me, that means that, you know, if there's something that you're letting go of, it may be that that other thing or that other person may be as sad as you are about the situation. Okay? This could even be somebody moving away. Anyway, let's move on. Can we move on now? Okay. So Saturday, what we have is the Page of Mirrors, or the Healer, showing up in reverse. It's interesting. It's pretty much right under my card earlier that said you weren't feeling too well on Wednesday. So the Healer in reverse, you may be feeling poorly all the way up through till Saturday. Healer in reverse just talks about basically not being a very good patient. You know, if you've gone to the doctor and the doctor has said this is what you need to do or this is not what you need to do, you may be like, you know what, I can't handle that kind of treatment. I have to do this, or I need to not do whatever. So this is you not being a very good patient, being a little bit stubborn, showing up on Saturday. And it may not be about the same thing that happened on Wednesday. It's just kind of a weird coincidence that I've got those two cards showing up in the same week, on one right under the other. Let's look at Sunday. Here we have the Muse, which I think is a really interesting name for our Queen of Spirals. The Muse is somebody that, you know, an artist looks at and gets ideas from, whether it's a musician or a painter or a sculptor or whatever. The Muse is somebody who sort of tweaks their imagination so that they can create the new thing, the new wonderful, romantic, special, beautiful thing. And I think this is really an interesting name for this card, because this is the card that would be like the Queen of Wands in any other deck, coming up as the Queen of Spirals. The Queen of Wands is a very self-made woman. She probably has her own business. She definitely does her own thing in her off time, if not her on time. For her to be somebody else's muse, or to be viewed as somebody else's muse, rather than to be viewed as her own independent person, it kind of blows my mind that this comes in this way on this card. I feel like for you Libras, if you're somebody's muse here, if you're somebody's inspiration for creativity, I feel like it's because you have chosen to be. I don't feel like you normally slow down enough to let that happen. I feel like if you are doing that now, then it's just strictly to encourage somebody else to explore their creative juices and get them going. Because creativity is really important to you Libras, and I think that you are trying to give somebody a chance to be creative, and I think that it is definitely a conscious choice that you're making on Sunday. There's your week, Libra. Thank you so much for sharing, subscribing, liking, and commenting. I look forward to seeing some of you here this week for readings, and I'll see the rest of you on the next video. Peace out.